Watch a documentary on starving children in a third world country. Then look at photos of houses in Beverly Hills. Why are some countries so poor while others enjoy such extravagant wealth? And even a rich country has its ups and downs. In America, the time of unprecedented economic growth was followed by the Great Depression, a devastating economic collapse. Why do all countries seem to go through these boom and bust periods? Will poor countries stay poor forever? Is there anything rich countries can do to fight recessions? And what can governments do to combat these problems? To answer these types of large-scale economic questions, economists turn to macroeconomics, which studies the health and function of economies as a whole. In order to understand the status of an economy, macroeconomics focuses on three important factors: GDP, the unemployment rate, and the inflation rate. Gross domestic product, or GDP, measures the value of all goods and services produced by a country within a certain period of time, usually a year. This number is important because it is an easy way to see whether or not a country's economic output is growing. For example, if my country produces and exports oil and we sold $10,000 worth last year and $15,000 worth this year, it appears our economy is growing. Of course, measuring the value of goods produced may not tell the whole story. That's because the dollar amount itself, known as the nominal GDP, doesn't take into account inflation. For example, let's say that last year my country exported 100,000 barrels of oil, which sold for $10,000. This year we only exported 80,000, but because the price of oil has skyrocketed, we actually sold those barrels for $15,000. In this instance, our nominal GDP has increased, but if we consider last year's export numbers as our baseline, in actuality, an overall decline in real economic performance occurred during this year. Because nominal GDP only tells half the story, economists must calculate what's known as real GDP, which is based on the monetary value of goods and services and is subject to inflation, so needs to be adjusted to reflect a clearer view of the economic output. The next factor economists look at when assessing the health of an economy is unemployment. This is important because high unemployment rates indicate that a nation is not using a large portion of its workforce, wasting one of its most valuable resources. High unemployment rates have also been linked to higher crime rates, civil unrest, depression, and disease. So nations with high unemployment are likely to suffer from a number of problems that can all lead to economic disaster. The final thing macroeconomics look at is inflation. That is, the decline of purchasing power of a given currency over time. The increase in the overall level of prices is its fundamental symptom. If inflation rates are too high, they can outpace the economic growth of the nation, leading to lower quality of life in poorer citizens. This can negatively impact economic spending and production. By studying real GDP, unemployment, and inflation, economists are able to keep track of long-run growth while keeping an eye on any short-run fluctuations that could impact a nation's economy. This should lead to a better understanding of how to improve the wealth of poorer nations and how to predict and manage recessions in the more prosperous ones.